Hey, boo babes, have you ever followed all the rules, cut the sugar, drank the water, tracked every single silly bite, and still hit a wall with weight loss? It's beyond frustrating, especially when you feel like you've already come so far. Now, imagine unlocking the one thing that finally helps the skill and your mindset move again. But what if it wasn't another diet, but a decision to heal the root cause? You're listening to the Lose Weight for the Last Time podcast, where we free the moms so that they can lose weight for the last time. My name is Laura Conley, and I am your certified life and weight loss coach. Today on the show, we're asking what really happens when GLP-1s stop working and how to keep going. To help us answer that, we're joined by my client, Dr. Casey Lacey, psychologist, confidence coach, and keynote speaker who has helped women escape toxic workplaces. And now she's sharing how she escaped a toxic cycle with her own body and food. In this episode, you'll learn three things. Number one, why GLP-1s might be a powerful tool, but not a complete solution. Number two, how journaling and mindset work help Casey break through a long-standing plateau. And number three, the unexpected way healing her inner dialogue transformed her confidence, her parenting, and her business. Plus, we'll dive into how emotional eating, people pleasing, and perfectionism play sneaky roles in keeping us stuck and what it really means to be unstoppable. So if you're ready to ditch the guilt, heal your relationship with food, and feel free in your body again, then stick around for this episode of Lose Weight for the Last Time. Hello, you guys. Casey Lacey, Dr. Casey Lacey is here. She is in the house. Welcome, Casey. Will you give us a little intro about who you are, where you are, what you do in the world, and a little bit about like why you decided to work inside the Yummy Mummy, why you decided to sign up for the Yummy Mummy experience?
Oh my goodness. So yes, Dr. Casey Lacey here. I know you always hear me say that, but I had to do it. So I'm here. I'm a psychologist, confidence coach, and I specifically work with women who are leaving toxic workplaces. So I love doing that. But my favorite thing is I'm a keynote speaker. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Laura about a little over a year ago, more than a year ago. I had joined a coaching program as I had just left my long-term career. And then we met through a mutual coaching friend. And then I got to learn about Yummy Mummy, had been on my own personal journey of just reclaiming my voice, my body, my everything, and had already lost about 60 pounds, but had hit a serious plateau. And so I found out about Yummy Mummy through Laura and decided to sign up. And also, of course, Dr. Sarah Crystal, she was part of the journey. And so two fellow psychologists who are also coaches, but she shared with me her experience. And I was like, I absolutely need to do this.
What did she tell you? Like, what did she say to you?
She just kind of told me about her experience in terms of like, I think she's lost over 100 pounds. And it was after having her kids, and she has twins and just all this stuff. But in terms of babies, and that was for myself, I have two daughters, and it was really just kind of a struggle. But I had shared my experience with GLP-1 and hitting this plateau. But both of us as psychologists, it was, I really wanted to do like the real work on my body, like get to the root of my relationships with food, the scale, all of the stuff. And so that was what really hit and resonated with me when Sarah shared about that for her. So, and then of course you're
Yeah.
so fun. So I had to be a part of Laura's world.
Oh my God. I know we were talking about this the other day, but it's like the second I met you, I was like, I know we're going to be friends. I love it when like my clients turn into my friends. It's like so fun. There's coaches out there that are like, you have to keep the boundary and you have to. And I'm like, fuck that shit. No, I don't. Like, what? I can wear the friendship hat and the coach hat just fine, people. Okay. Yeah. But I knew that we were going to be connected in this lifetime the second I met you. So I love when that happened. Yeah, it's so interesting because Sarah Crystal is like, I am like a PhD psychologist like you are. And she's like, I knew all these concepts like intellectually, but like I couldn't apply them for whatever reason. And so this was like the thing that made it click. And I love that. Ooh, that's so good. Okay. And that's what my background is like too. That's my degrees in psychology. I never actually became a psychologist because I didn't want to go to that much school.
It is a lot of, yes.
There's a lot of school. Okay, so talk to us a little bit about going on a GLP-1 and then plateauing and what that was like, because One of the reasons why I wanted to have Dr. Casey Lacey on the podcast is because she went on a GLP-1 and then she plateaued. And I think that a lot of people think that GLP-1s are like the end all be all. They're like the magic pill, the ultimate, like the thing.
Yeah.
And I do, and you guys know if you listen to the podcast or follow me on Instagram, like I think it's a great tool for the right person. But I think the only thing I think is a bummer is that it can actually be like the ultimate band-aid, and then you're missing out on healing at the root. And so that's when I get like a little bit bummed. So just talk us through like your story. And I just also want to call out too, like I want to like de-shame any shame that's out there around GLP-1s, because I think like I have no tolerance for that. Like that is such BS. If like GLP-1s are a part of your journey, like then they're supposed to be a part of your journey. So if you could just like tell us
Yeah.
your story,
Yeah.
I know we want to hear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So for myself, I've tried every diet. I've ever done everything possible throughout my life. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. And then after having my two daughters, I'd really hit the highest weight, which was 301 pounds. I thought I would like never tell anyone that number, but like I have no shame with it anymore. And
Mm.
so for me, I had a couple friends where I was like, you've lost weight. So like, what's going on? And they were people that struggled too. And so that's how I found out about like GLP-1. Well, then of course I went to my doctor, couldn't get it approved, did all this stuff. So got a compounded version. And truly it was such a great tool for me because it really started the food noise and just that honestly, like instant you're starting to lose weight. It
Oh.
changes your appetite, like all of that stuff that was just so hard.
Oh.
And especially when I was at that place where I just felt so heavy in my body and uncomfortable, I felt kind of stuck there. And so then using that as a tool definitely helped. I started like up my protein and do some things, but I had hit this place where like, okay, it was doing what it was supposed to. And then I just hit a plateau. And I was like, I know I still have more weight to lose, but I didn't know what else to do. I'd done all my water, all my protein. I was working out, I was doing all the things. But it was like in all reality, there were still times too where it was like I was just still eating some of the other foods. And it was about that, like healing my relationship with food and this
Mm.
like guilt, shame cycle, my relationship with the scale, flour,
Mm.
sugar. I mean, you name it. It was just all this stuff of like getting back into my body and listening to what made me feel good. This
Mm.
was also the same time where I left a really toxic workplace. And so
Mm.
leaving that, I started my GLP-1 journey there, but it was like, again, still like I needed to heal from that. And so healing from that, then I could also move to this place of like healing my relationship with food. And so
Mm.
joined Yummy Mummy. And during that time or during the YMX period, it was like lost another 23 pounds.
Mm.
And I had been stuck for like a year and a half,
Oh,
like just not able to like let go of that weight. And so continuing to lose more.
yeah, I love that. Casey Lacey and I want to do a like series of the Drop 8 diaries together. So stay tuned for that. What unlocked it for you? Like the GLP-1s got you to the 60 pounds
Yeah.
down. It like helped reduce a lot of the food chatter, but talk to
Yeah.
us a little bit about what has like unlocked the plateau or like helped you to continue to move forward.
Yeah. It was really a lot of that like internal dialogue for myself. It was the shame cycle that I had lived in. And it was the like, oh, I'll start on Monday mentality. And
Oh
I
yeah.
would like, I think I'm like internally this like rule breaker. Like I want to break the
Oh.
rules. But it's like at the end of the day, one big insight I had for myself during YMX is like my entire life has been kind of a fight and survival, upbringing, childhood, all of this stuff. And then the workplace was like always a fight. And I realized how much of that dialogue I was fighting myself. And
Mm.
so, like, that was a big aha for me. And then just the internal thoughts, like the journaling every day really makes you aware of how much crap you say yourself. And I'm a keynote speaker and I talk to women about like our inner critic and the terrible things we say. But I didn't realize how much of that negativity it was related to food. I would eat something, feel bad. I'd get on the scale, I feel like shit. I'd shame myself for some number. And I love when you're like, it's just a number and it doesn't have to be the same relationship. So letting go of that was huge for me. And then
Mm.
it's just like telling myself too, I'm like, I'm ready to let go of the weight. I'm safe to lose the weight. I think
Mm.
was part of it too.
Tell us a little bit about the internal dialogue. Like, what did you find out that you were saying to yourself? And I totally agree with the journaling because it's like we just sort of have this like gray cloud, black cloud following us around, and we don't even realize like we're the ones creating it with our thoughts. But what were some of your like specific ones? Do you know?
My number one was that I had told myself I can't lose weight. Like I had believed that my whole life, that I was that unicorn, that it's just hard for me, that I can't lose
Uh,
weight. And so like I feel like in some ways the GLP-1 medication showed me like, no, you can. Like it's possible. Like you're not broken. And of course, I've been that person that's have every lab done. I'm like, is it my thyroid? Is it
yeah.
hormones? Is it like whatever? But it was just like, no, you actually have the tools and your body can lose weight. So like I know that sounds crazy, but like I literally had told myself that lie that like if you're going to lose weight, you have to eat exactly perfect. And it has to be this like shame experience. And I love too so much of like, I can't hate myself skinny. Like, I can't,
Mm,
that narrative does not work and it does not serve me. It actually makes me feel like crap. And then it makes me eat more. And then it just is counter to all of my goals. So it was a
yes.
lot of those like limiting beliefs that I told myself is that I can't lose weight, which was
Yeah.
a complete lie.
Oh,
So that was
and
definitely one. And then the scale stuff too, like even the scale or that food is good or bad, or the shame of like, oh, you messed up again. Like, when you have something that was like off protocol. And it's like, no, I would look back with love and understand, like, no, I made a choice to have X, Y, or Z. And yes, did it reflect in the scale? Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. Like I told myself that it was going to be disastrous because we like our lower brains want to protect us and like catastrophize the situation. But I realized, no, the scale was the same or lower. So
I love that. Oh, that's so good. Oh my gosh. I could just hear like the audience like exhaling and relating to you on so many levels because I think so many of us tell ourselves, nope, I can't. It's impossible. And it's like, like I once heard somebody say to a client, like, what do you think would happen if you like went to a deserted island and like there were only pineapples or whatever? Like you got like a half a pineapple a day. That I'm not promoting that like you
yeah,
eat a half a pineapple a day. That's not what I'm saying, guys. But my point here is like that sometimes can help you to see like, okay, no, like if I was put in some sort of extreme circumstance, my body would use the fat on my body for fuel. And again, I'm not saying we're going to do anything extreme. We're not. But to show yourself that like it is possible for your body to lose weight can be like really helpful. Oh, I
yeah.
love that.
I remember I lost weight on vacation and I was like, no, 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 like that's not possible. Like it's those things we tell ourselves, or even the like that losing weight has to be hard or it has to be miserable and it has to be restrictive. Like that was a big one for me too. I'm like, no, actually, this is fun. I like to looking at, from the framework of like I was testing out different things, like what works for my body, in
Mm,
terms of like, at first I was really hesitant to cut out like flour and sugar. I was like, no, I can't do it. There's no way. And like again, it was like figuring out different recipes and trying stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't miss that. And I feel so much better. Like I genuinely
yeah.
do. My joints feel better. My body feels better. Like energy level, you name it. And so it was like testing all of those different things rather than it being this fight of like, okay, let's try this for a week and see how it goes. And then just continuing to move forward.
Yeah, that is so fun. And I think for some people listening, it can feel really like almost unsafe to
Yeah.
like have fun while we lose weight. Like that's not going to work. That's cute that you guys are over there having fun, but like that's not going to actually work because to your point, like this has to be hard. This has to
Yeah.
be a fight. This has to be like white knuckly and willpower. And it's like, no, actually we can enjoy ourselves and experiment and see what works for us while we're losing weight the whole time.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
what a
I parallel
concept.
it to like the work that I do with women now is like, I told myself this lie that like work had to be hard and miserable. And I'm like, no, work doesn't have to be hard and miserable because that's what I lived. And so it was like, yeah, getting back in touch with that. I'm like, no, it doesn't. So that was the same way I could apply that to like losing weight. Or, I mean, you could go as far as like, okay, making money doesn't have to be hard, but we tell
Hmm.
ourselves it does. So it's just interesting those different limiting beliefs or ideas that we have that we play over and over and over again.
Why do we do that, Dr. Casey Lacey? Why do we tell ourselves everything is so freaking hard?
I mean, I think part of it is just like truly our brains are trying to protect us. I often say, like, my inner critic, so my name's Casey Lacey. People sometimes read it as Cassie. So my inner critic is Cassie because she's an assy. And like I love her. She probably just needs to like go take a nap, drink some water. But she's like trying to protect me. She loves me, but like she also is afraid of everything. And so I think of that just again, that's that like lower part of our brain that like evolutionary, like trying to protect us. And that's why it goes to those places. But we
Yeah.
realize too, those narratives aren't true. And just
Uh,
because it's a thought doesn't make it a fact. And just because it's
yeah.
a feeling doesn't mean, all of the different things. And I love the quote about emotions. It's like emotions are just information. And at the end of the day, emotions are like kids in the car. You don't let them drive the car, but you don't lock them in the trunk either. Like
Yes.
they're information. And so we don't have to like shame them and have this like negative relationship with them either.
Yeah, it's so much more fun to your point. It's like to be curious about the emotions. Like they have so much information when we stop judging them, when we stop trying to throw them in the trunk or throw them out of the car. Like we can learn so much and we can
Yeah.
be curious. And that's really so fun. How else did you have fun on this journey?
I think for me, it was like the activity of like, I don't know, just trying to be present with my daughters because they're definitely the reason why I don't want them to grow up and have the same struggles. But I also don't want them to like see a mom who's not comfortable in her body or confident and all of those things. So, like, for me, it was just like fun having the different conversations. You've heard some of the fun conversations, especially my oldest daughter who's 8. She said some fun things to me before, of like, and I'm glad I've done some work on myself because I remember she's like, Mom, you need to sit down. I'm like, okay, Harper, what's wrong? She's like, I'm just so worried. I'm worried about being fat. I'm like, honey, first of all, we don't ever use that word. Like, where does this coming from? She's like, well, worried about being fat like you. And I was like, okay, let's talk about this. And I was like, well, mommy loves her body. I know that I hold weight in my stomach. Like, I held 2 babies in here though. Like, it's magical. And like the stuff my body does. And she's like, yeah, your belly's so squishy and fun. I can lay on it. I'm like, thanks, thanks. Again, it's been fun with her. And that was like early on when I started my journey. But then recently, it was this last week where she was like, Mom, I got my hair done. She's like, you got a new hair, you got a new car, which is not new. It's like an '07 for me. But she's like, you got a new body. Like, don't take this the wrong way, but you got a new body. And I'm like, yes, I know. And
Uh,
she's like, but you got a new job and you're just so happy. And that's the part I
mm,
want to see. And that's the biggest lesson I can show her is like someone that's like happy, living in their purpose, comfortable in their body and confident. So
yes. Yeah. That is the best gift we can give our kids, like, and to show them it's possible. And I also love that you're showing her that, like, you can change. Like, you can want to change your job and you can want to change your body and you can want to change your hair or whatever. And it
yeah.
doesn't mean the old, I mean, maybe for you, your job was bad or toxic or whatever, right? But like,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that anything was necessarily bad or wrong. It means like we can evolve. We can look at ourselves and say, hey, I want to like do this differently. And like, that's okay. I think that's such a beautiful gift
Yeah. Yeah.
to like let them witness and let them see, really truly see us.
Yeah. Yeah, because they start to pick up those messages like early. Again, she's 8 and they're already all the body image stuff comes in. And I just don't want her to have that like same relationship with food that like food is bad and I'm afraid of it or there's just going to be this negative reaction if I have X, Y, or Z. So
Exactly. Hey guys, it's not too late to join the Lose 5 Pounds This Week challenge. And we're doing it while life is lifing and without doing things that we hate. So go to lauraconley.com/drop, DROP, and the number 5 and sign up using the code DROP, DROP 5, FIVE to get in for free. We're doing it all on Voxer. You're not too late. Get in there. And I pinky promise you, we're going to lose weight this week while life is lifing. I'll see you inside. I love you so freaking much. So you were talking a lot about like the internal dialogue. Like that is something that really helped you crack the weight loss code inside the Yummy Mummy experience. Why do you think noticing your thoughts, like, of course, I could answer this question too, but like, why do you think noticing your thoughts and journaling and like calling out Assy Cassie and putting her back in her place lovingly, like, why do you think that like actually made you lose weight?
yeah. Because I think, again, your thoughts affect your feelings and then it affects your actions. And so when I would recognize those thoughts rather than letting them take control,
Mm,
it then allowed me to take control rather than these thoughts that weren't
mhm.
actually serving me or that were negative. And so I think that was the hugest part is like, okay, it didn't consume me. And then I live in this like shame guilt cycle, then led to me like overeating or doing something,
Yeah, and when you talk about that, like the shame guilt cycle, like take us through what that looked like for you, like before.
It was exhausting. I mean, it's like the
Uh,
amount of mental energy that I would spend thinking about, okay, what should I eat? Is this or that? And then when I would have something, whether it was like cake or ice cream, or I mean, just throwing kind of random examples. But the fact is that like all food had like a label of like, this is good for you or this is bad for
uh,
you. And if you have good, then like you're doing good, which then goes into this whole perfectionism realm. But then there's the like, oh, you're bad. Now you're shameful. You suck. You're never going to do this. You're always going to be fat. Like all of the dialogue that would then spin from these choices of food. And again, food's such a part of our life, And so
yes.
I just hated how much energy it took and mental space it took in my life. And now it's like, okay, food is fuel, but it doesn't have to consume every bit of my thinking or thoughts. Like, yeah, I plan a little bit, but it really can be fun. And I don't have to obsess about it.
Oh, yeah, that's so well said. So, what do you feel like now that you're not spending the mental energy like over calculating and like hyper focusing? What do you have time for? Like, what do you like,
No,
like,
no.
like now
Now
that you're freed up from that, like, what is that like?
yeah. It is so free. I think that's the biggest thing is like the freedom. And now it's like, oh, of course I can use that energy because as women, we have like anywhere from 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day or something like that. And I can then use those thoughts of like growing my business or being an involved, like present parent or wife or whatever. Like, really, it's like that energy then can also go to fun things like planning trips, dreaming my life. Like, it can go to
Mm.
other places because it's not in this space of like food. So,
Ah, yes. Oh my gosh, that is so well said. Okay, I always love like a little before and after. So, not like people are always like pictures, but like I love the stories. Like, what do you feel like your life was like? And you've alluded to this already a little bit. Like, what do you feel like you felt like before? And how do you
yeah.
feel now? Like a little bit of like Dr. Casey Lacey before, and a little bit of like, how do you feel now in your life?
Yeah. I mean, it parallels so well because of like where I was with like burnout of work and toxic stuff to now. It's like how I felt before was like lost, silenced, stuck, ashamed, like kind of invisible in some ways too,
Oh,
and just like heavy and weighed down by life, also physically too, uncomfortable. Just like feeling like I don't know, like busting at the seams, but like with stress and like you're uncomfortable in your clothes, like all of this stuff. And so it's like now, and again, like I said, the mental energy and like always overthinking and spinning and thinking about food, and then the shame cycle, like on a hamster on a wheel. And then now it's just like this free, like I feel bright. I feel like, I mean, again, I literally, my wardrobe has significantly changed. Like I get to be myself, the authenticity, the confidence. And I
oh,
think too, it's like I'm just more in alignment with like who I'm meant to be. And I'm not
yeah.
hiding anymore. Like I think I was hiding in some ways because it was like a safety protection thing in terms of work, but sometimes even with weight. But like
Mm.
now it's like, no, I'm gonna live boldly. And it was always the one goal in my life. I'm like, I got the PhD at 26. Like I've done every goal I've ever set my mind to. This was the one goal that's like I could never lose the weight. I can never get to that place. And I'm like, no, if I can do this, like I can freaking do anything. And so it's
Oh,
really the unstoppable feeling, I think, that is the best.
oh my God. That is the freaking best. It's so good. And I think our wardrobes are like such an expression of like who we truly are underneath it all, or like who we are becoming or who we want to be. It's like so good. And it's so true. You're so like just totally vibrant and bold and like just I love it. Unstoppable energy. That's what I love. Well, it's not, I can't say it's like the thing I love the most, but it's one of the things I love the most is like watching everybody transform energetically. Like everybody of course loses the weight, but you guys like really start to like look different energetically. Like you can just see the like light beaming from within. It's so crazy. It's
Yeah.
such a cool thing to witness. And yeah, I love it.
I love seeing that like on our group calls too. Like I think about some of the ladies in our group and like one special person, I won't call her out, but that like showed up to our last call and she was like, I'm showing up in my birthday suit. Obviously she wasn't showing all of that, but like just the brightness and excitement of like, I'm going to live in my best self and this is how I'm celebrating. So like, I love that part too. And there's just the energy of
Yes.
the group that is definitely magnetic of like, we're
Mm,
here in this, supporting this together. You're not alone. But just
mm.
watching that transformation was also really cool. So
Yeah, it's so like it's such a gift. So, we talked a little bit about emotional eating. Like, what did you used to use food for? Was it like stress relief? Was it like coming home from that toxic workplace? Like, talk to us a little bit about that because I'm curious if the food was actually giving you something you needed, and now how do you take care of that need if that need is there?
yeah, no, that's such a good question. So I ate for all the emotions, every emotion possible. You're happy, you eat. You're sad, you eat. You're angry, you eat. Like it was every emotion possible. Definitely emotional eater. I think, especially with the work stuff too. I was talking to my husband about this too. Like at work, we used to go out to eat every single day because it was like we wanted to escape for work. Like that was part of it. Like
Oh,
my kind of staff and group, we would like go out to lunch every single day. And when I would come home, it's like, okay, yeah, I would eat like there would be this like kind of numbing activity. Like I'm just overwhelmed. I made that hit. I'm
mm,
drained, and so you feel like you're, seeking energy, but it was really just like, here's the sugary, crappy, whatever, whatever
yeah,
is there. And then at night too, I mean, it's like, I love me some wine, but it was like, okay, let's drink the wine and then let's eat the snacks. Well, then let's eat another dinner. Like it was just a lot of numbing and really just mindlessly eating. I would
mm,
do it. There was the emotional piece, but it was just like it had been my coping mechanism of
mm,
like I would get that dopamine hit like it
yeah,
truly was. And so now it's like finding other things. Like I have definitely found my love of books again, like
mm,
going outside and walking, playing with my kids, like doing something new, traveling. Again, my business, obviously, like pouring into that and speaking and working with other women, like writing my own book right now, which is crazy. It's a whole other thing. But it's like I have that energy to do those other things and get my hit that way, but
mm,
also really working on like I am a somatic stressor. So it was like getting in my body, and meditation has been very
mm.
helpful. I was not initially like a yoga person, but I'm like a stretch. I like faster workouts. And so I don't like fall asleep in yoga, but like it really was just getting quieter and listening to my body and
Yes.
checking in on how I'm physically feeling because I
Mm,
would just eat and check out.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so many people can relate to that. And that's why I actually kind of love emotional eating because it's such a amazing invitation into like what do I need here?
yeah.
And how can I like actually take care of myself?
And
Oh,
therapy is also helpful. I did some of that too. So like you need to check in on some things. And again, that was just workplace stuff, but it's like, yeah, figuring out what is really going on because yeah, the eating is not serving me. It's keeping me trapped and
mm,
making me miserable too. So
yeah. Yeah. It's like a very cheap thrill. It's a cheap hit. Yeah. Okay. So talk to us a little bit about like, was it hard for you to sign up for the Yummy Mummy experience? Like, were you on the fence or were you like, oh, I talked to Sarah Crystal, I'm good to go? Like, tell us a little bit about that because I know there's a lot of women listening that are sitting on the fence or they want to do it or they're like, well, the podcast is good enough or whatever. And so I just am curious, like, what it was like for you signing up and what you would tell somebody who's on the fence because I think sometimes we think, like, oh, I have to like wait till I
wait till you're
feel,
ready.
wait, yeah, exactly. Wait till I'm ready or wait till
The
I don't,
perfect time or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So for me, it was like I met you, and I still remember like we were sitting in that like hotel, like I think lobby area, and we were talking about what you did, and I started to share kind of my GLP-1 journey. And honestly, like I wouldn't tell people I was on a GLP-1 for a while because it was like this embarrassing feeling. Like it was like, oh, I don't want to tell anybody because people say, oh, that's the easy way. And I'm like, no, nothing about me losing weight has ever been easy. So
Easy.
you just don't judge me. But there was the shame of it. And so at first I was like, okay. And it sounded interesting, but I had tried so many things that I was like, okay,
Mm,
the GLP-1 is working. But now it's gotten to that tool has worked to this point, and now I need to do the other work. I don't want to say hard work, the fun work on myself. And so I was nervous. I was nervous, but
mm,
then like talking to Sarah definitely helped. Getting to know you and just like what I'm seeing in terms of your program, your energy, all of the things. I'm like, whatever Laura's doing is fun. And I'm not someone that ever has buyer's remorse. So I'm
ooh,
not, I'm like, I'm in, let's do it. But I think it is when it comes to this part of like investing in myself, that sometimes can be harder because like as a mom, as a woman, like we tend to like pour into other people. So there was the nervousness, but it was 100% worth it. For me, I'm so, so grateful. And it was like perfect timing. I talked with Sarah, like, okay, what's this going to involve? Yeah, I'm busy. Like, I'm starting a business. I'm doing all this stuff. And she's like, yeah. But I always tell myself too, you make time for things that are important to you. And this was important to me. And I knew that if I'm going to level up in my life and level up in my business, level up in my relationships, I have to invest in myself at the same time.
Hmm.
And so that was for myself. So if anyone's like hesitant, I'm like, do it. You're at the end of the day, like we only get one life. And if you want to be there for all of these other people in your life, you have to take care of yourself.
Hmm.
And me taking care of myself has tremendously supported my marriage, me as a mom, me as a daughter, me as a business owner, and all of those other realms. So
Talk to us a little bit more about that. Like, how has it made you, like you focusing on you, like how does that make you a better mom, a better business owner, a better wife? Like, talk to us a little bit about that.
yeah. I think for myself, it was because, especially going through the workplace stuff that I did, I got to this place where I was like, I will no longer shrink. I will no longer sacrifice myself for other people. And that didn't get to just apply to work, that had to apply to everything. And I
Mm,
love my kids and I love my husband and my family. But at the end of the day, I can't continue just like to carry all of their feelings or take care of them above myself. And so that was such a huge shift for me. And so like when it comes to like the, especially my business, like I'm on stage, like I'm up there. There's this piece of like very vulnerable. And then even being vulnerable and starting my business, I'm a psychologist. It was always about the other person. But now in this coaching realm and working with women, it's like I am my brand. And so if I'm out there teaching women to be confident and I'm not confident in my own body, like I feel like it's just not consistent with my brand and who I am. And so that
yeah.
was part of it too, of like my motivation. It's been such a shift. And really, like people feel it. Like we talk about those energies. Like you have that energy, I do. My friends Elise and some of the other people in our group. Like there's so many people that just have that energy, and that's what draws people in. And I want to be that for someone else. And I also want people to see what's possible because I've been that other version, and I don't want to live her anymore. I love her. I look back at her truly with love even
Mm,
when I show these pictures on stage where I'm like, I used to look at those pictures and like cringe. Like I wouldn't want to see them. I remember going to the doctor's office and telling my husband to like stay away while I was on the scale. This was like when I was
yeah.
pregnant. I was like, you can't look at this. And he's like, I love you regard. Like and it's not him. It was my own stuff
Of
completely.
course. Of course.
But it's just such a shift now. It's like I feel more real. I don't have anything to hide anymore. So
Mm, yeah. And that is the definition of freedom. Oh, that's so good. Okay. Tell us a little bit about how you got over not sharing about the GLP-1s because this isn't a GLP-1 podcast and like we don't do GLP-1s in the Yummy Mommy experience, but like I really, if the point here is to free the moms, I think that could be another trap. I'm not saying if you guys in the audience are on a GLP-1 that you have to tell people, you get to make your personal choice, but I'm curious about how you got over that hump because I think we need to de-shame everything everywhere. Like it doesn't matter what it is. And I just think this is like one of the latest and greatest like things that we want to shame each other with and judge each other with. And I just think it's BS. So tell me what you think about that and how you got over that.
for me, it was again some like wonderful friends and women who were like, hey, oh my gosh, you look amazing. How are you doing it? And I could not lie to them. I couldn't. Like that
Mm,
felt terrible. And so I also didn't want to gatekeep. Like I was like, I'm
mm,
not going to gatekeep this information. And I think as women, sometimes we keep silent about so many things, whether that's like how hard motherhood is or finances. Like we don't want to talk about money or relationships or whatever it is. And so I remember kind of early on when I started to lose the weight, people started to notice. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tell them. And so the more I told, then people are like, oh, I want to get connected. And so they just saw the positive. And it's the same thing about YMX now, of like the coaching piece of it, because it's like, okay, they want to know, like, yes, this helped me. This is a tool, but this is also another tool. And so I want you to know that this is how I'm continuing to do it. And so it was just by like sharing one thing after another and
mm,
realizing it's a disservice. And it's inauthentic to like be like, oh, I just did it. I white knuckled it. And, I just cut
yeah.
out
So I'm
carbs.
so
I did.
strong,
Yeah.
which
Like,
that's a whole, but that piece is
yeah.
so BS too. Like,
Yeah.
uh, Oh
But
God.
yeah, I kind of got over it and I kind of got over myself. Like, I was
Mm,
like, this is a little bit bigger than just me because like there's so many women I think that struggle with this. And like truly where you say like free the moms, like that's where I completely in line with your mission. Like free the moms, free the women from all of these different things that we struggle with and struggling in silence. So the more that we can share our own things, and it is a personal choice,
of
absolutely, to
course.
choose
Yeah.
a medication or whatever. But for me, it was the right choice. But it was also one tool, and I needed other tools in my tool belt.
Yeah, it's like another rule book, another stupid like societal programming that we get like should do this, shouldn't do this, like this is right, this is wrong. Oh, like that's what we just have to throw away all the rule books. Okay. So, yeah, so somebody who's like, "Oh, I'm scared to sign up." Like what one piece of advice would you tell them?
Do it anyways. Like, do why? Like, first of all, what are you afraid of?
Mm,
Is for me, it was like I was more afraid of the regret and like not knowing. I think that's part
mm,
of it because it's like, okay, yeah, you could have this fear. Okay, I try something else that doesn't work. Well, at least you tried. You
mm.
don't know until you try. But I did not want to live with the regret of not knowing. And like, I think of my future self, like my future self now, looking back to that person who signed up, I'd be like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I'm so glad you did. But I was able to think through that too. And like, you've got to get past that fear because fear is just keeping you stuck in and not small, actually. It's
Yeah.
you not where you want to be.
Oh my God, it's so good. Okay, anything else you feel like we haven't covered or we need to like tell the audience? I know I like didn't ask you all the questions, but I feel like is there anything else that you want to share?
I mean, I think just like for women in general, as the psychology piece of it, of the people pleasing, the perfectionism, the imposter syndrome, like all of those things. Yeah, I talk about that in the workplace, but those things also come into this realm of weight loss so
Mm,
much. I think that was really helpful. I remember one of our group calls, and someone was like, my daughter brought over this cake, and it was literally a couple days before that. My mom had showed up, and I know that there's people in my life that like they love by food and that's how they show love. But I also can say no and not feel guilty about it. Like,
mm,
and so there's a lot of those different behaviors we engage in, whether that's in the workplace or even in this like health journey that we just got to be aware of. And like you get to choose which behaviors you set and it's your life. And so the more that we can live like unapologetically ourselves and authentic and confident, the better off you're going to be in terms of just all of the areas of your life. So.
yeah. Yeah, I think that you're totally right. It's weight loss is such like a beautiful kind of mirror or opportunity because you have if you really want to lose weight for the last time, you have to do all that root work. And so much of a lot of it is breaking up with our perfectionistic tendencies and the people pleasing. And I'm always like, there's like, we're all carrying around like 15 pounds of people pleasing pounds because we're so afraid of like what other people are going to think about us. But again, it's another gift because you can be like, no, I don't want, no, thank you. I'm good for right now with your cake. And you show yourself you don't die. And then it's like this amazing opportunity to like continue to be yourself because you've shown yourself it's safe to be yourself and people aren't going to like kick you out of the tribe. They're not going, they're not going to stop being your friend. I mean, maybe a couple of them will, but like do
And then they
you
really
think?
weren't your friend
Yeah,
anyway. So bye.
yeah, exactly. So I love that that comes up so much in inside the Yummy Mummy because man, what a trap is the people pleasing trap. Like it's the worst. And that's like actually what I'm so excited for my daughter to inherit is like I really want to pass down a legacy of just like authenticity and what does she want and like being able
Yeah.
to articulate that and like go do that, whether that's like food or job stuff or mom stuff or whatever. Like this people
Yeah.
pleasing martyrdom stuff has got to go.
Yes. I agree.
So, okay, I love that you were talking about your coaching practice. How can the people who are listening find you? I would love to, because like that's a part of this too. I really think that like when it's exactly what you were saying, when we stop focusing on how many points was that, tracking this, getting in a 10,000 steps, blah, 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 like we're not being present. It's like, oh, I have all this energy to like pour into my business. I just think that's been so cool to watch you do. So tell us how we can stalk you and find you and watch your keynote speeches and all the things.
Yes. So you can definitely find me on LinkedIn, Casey Lacey. So it's KASI because my parents had to be difficult. And then honestly, my website. So www.caseylacey.com. That's where most of my stuff is at. I do have individual coaching, keynote stuff, but I am launching, and this is truly just due to demand. I've had so many women come up to me and tell me their toxic workplace stories. And so it's helping women come together in a group format where they can decide to stay or go, because I want them to do that in a way that is confident for them. And again, some people make that decision to leave and some make that decision to stay. So
Yeah. Ooh, and doing it in a group is so powerful. There's so much healing that happens inside a group. I love that. Oh, that's so good. I'm like, I don't have a toxic workplace to like come get coaching on with you, but I want to come in anyways. Okay, Casey Lacey, you're the freaking best. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You guys, if you want to get results like Dr. Casey Lacey has gotten, go to lauraconley.com and book a call so we can get you in the next cohort. Our next cohort starts August 12th. So get in there. We close doors for that cohort on, I think, midnight on August 15th. So get your booty in there and let's lose weight for the last time. And to Casey Lacey's point too, you want to do this when life is lifing, when you've got some work stuff, some family stuff. Like one of my favorite cohorts is the end of the year because you build such strong muscles around lifing, around Thanksgiving, around the holidays, around all of that. So, go to lauraconley.com, book your call. That is what you have to do if you want to get inside the Yummy Mummy experience, because I want to screen everybody and make sure I can help everybody get across that finish line, because we do have a money back guarantee. Oh my God, how much do we love Casey Lacey, guys? Isn't she the best? If she inspired you, I want you to come get a little taste, no pun intended, of the Yummy Mummy inside my free challenge called Lose 5 Pounds this week while life is lifing. Go to lauraconley.com/DROP, the number 5, and enter the code DROP and the word 5, FIVE, and get in now, boo. Love you so much. Have the best week ever. Ciao, ciao.